Okay, so I would like to explain something to you. That there's a whole world that knows and interprets the story very well. But many people are left being religious and it destroys the world. And everything that you see, for example, I'm going to use this bottle of whiskey, although this is not whiskey, this is something else. Larceny, that is grand theft. Okay. All right. So you have a thief in the night between two thieves on three crosses. This is a reference to our three-dimensional reality. It's also a reference to, much further, we have the key to heaven and hell, and how you understand that is that you understand that these are just stories, and your words can fix things or harm things. They're philosophical, projections personified. Everyone gets this. Not too many other people do, but it's a sad thing. Because an alcohol is the truth. So let's go back to Noah. So Noah's drunk, and Noah's the first in Hebrew scripture. He's not the first one, but in terms of story and philosophy here, what the early Hebrews are talking about here is that he's the first vineyardsman, and he's drunk under his tent. And we're highlighting a social problem. We are highlighting a conundrum that people feel that they must be perfect at all times. Because what happens when you do this, when you want to be perfect, it ruins everything. So you have Ham, who is Canaan, basically. That's what his name means. Those with ears, let them hear. And Noah is naked in the story. What we mean by that is that he's naked without he has no worries, no cares. He's seen a tragic world. But you have Ham, who is Canaan, the promised land, which is a metaphor for a promised land, who comes in and Shem and Japheth cover him up. And Ham, but see, we're talking about the idea of utopia. What the scripture right here is consolidating is that the idea, it's the group mentality of people who want perfection and utopia and don't understand that you will never have it. So I believe it's Genesis 6:2. If I wanted to get it correctly, I'd have to start at the very beginning, and that's a long way to go. But God blessed, and when they say God in Scripture, actually G-O-D in your Christian scriptures, that's a big deal. They're meaning the philosophy of God. It's much like capital L, capital O, capital R, capital D. Much unlike capital L, little o, little r, little d. Or all uncapitalized. There's a big difference. And he curses him. So God blessed Noah. Why is he blessing Noah? Because Noah is paying not attention to. So God blessed Noah and his sons. He's from the line of Seth, or would be the line of Seth, etc. And what this means is that Noah listened to listened to the social atmosphere, and he wanted to fix it. So he saved all things, and everyone else was eating and drinking and being merry, or they were just being complacent. Much like Christians, any religious person today who takes the scriptures completely literal, and they don't see that you look in the water. That's why we talk about water. You see reflection, and that's why we talk about the image of God. It's all parables. So Noah cursed. So 6:2. I believe. I'm not certain. Is that we're highlighting the critical factor in people that is self-destructive. Self-destructive. And so he's cursed. He curses him. What this means, you could say in Buddhist philosophy, is just basically a line of karma, back and forth. What you get for just paying attention to the devil is in the details. See, that's what you're doing. The devil, that's why they said the devil ate the book. The dragon ate the book. Because what it is meaning here is that people become religious over Scripture and they don't get the meaning. So this is why Noah is cursing Ham, which is essentially a metaphorical statement saying that you can never have utopia as people because you are continually critical. Continually. And see, I can explain this to you, and you say, oh my God, he's gone crazy. But you only think this because I don't have 10 million followers on Facebook, or I'm not Rod Parsley or Benny Hinn. These people are charlatans. They're false prophets. They're making you are buying into the idea, just like Ham, more is better. Image is everything. That's what Ham was concerned with. The reputation, his relation to his father. So this is highlighting a social nitpicking narrative. Henpicking. Being too critical. Being too cynical. Being whatever. That's what it is. That's all it is. It's just the story. And it came from the epics of Gilgamesh. Well, it began in Mesopotamia. And like all things evolve in speech and conversation. I say one thing, you say another. They build one Model T Ford. Eventually we have a GT Mustang. And now, everything evolves. And if you don't get this, you've got a problem. You've got a tremendous problem. If you don't see that the Scriptures are part history, genealogy, and philosophy personified in any religion, you've got a terrible problem. The programmer, God, whatever, the whole system of everything is absolutely, completely real. But people have ruined it, and now they're fighting over it. And now there are a bunch of Cains killing Abels. So in every moment you have, you can be a Cain or Abel. In your head. That's what it's talking about. So Ham was basically being a Cain. That's what he was doing. He was copy striking his reputation with his father. That's it. And it turns out this is a disease. If you do it so much, it's contagious. It spreads. People become defensive because people are offensive. It becomes a great magnanimous disease. That's why Noah is cursing Ham, because you should have just left it alone. We're talking about alcohol, which the whole story is about alcohol in one part. In vino veritas, in wine there was truth. That's why Yeshua, or Jesus, is turning water into wine. He's taking the bland law of just religion, and he's making it into wine. that's also a head nod to Noah. The same story. I want you guys to start maybe practicing Kabbalah. Start researching it and realize that you're doing exactly what Ham did. You're being too religious. You're being Pharisaical. Can you not see that the stories are just written like this? There is truth to it in prophecy. But most of it is philosophy.